structure before we can maybe exercise our powers as citizens to recall these members of parliament, or do we simply make noise from the streets, including instances like this one, hoping miracles to happen? Because at the end of the day, we need to have some practical actions that should bring forth tangible results that we can. Yes, we have lost quite a number of people in this movement, in this revolution, but these are some of the tangible results. These are the things that we can take home and say it was worthwhile, as much as nothing really should be compared to human life, but at least in the long run, we need to be happy and say, yes, we lost some of our soldiers on the way. However, we have managed to achieve a few things that we will say the movement has achieved moving forward as we do an overhaul of the system. Thank you for now, Maj, as we will continue the conversation.
Thanks so much, Godfather. Yes?
Maj, is it possible for me to intervene at this time for a short part, just briefly?
Yes, that's okay.
Yeah, because I think he's raised a lot of questions that I would just want to address briefly, and many people can also contribute. So number one, I don't think there was a mistake that people made. I think we have to be very clear about that.
Maj, we can hear you.
No, can you hear me?
It's not me speaking, Godfather. It's Dr. Harry speaking, and we can hear him. If you cannot hear him, please log out and come back, because he's already responding to you. Kindly continue, Dr. Harry.
Okay, so let me backtrack a little bit. This is a protracted struggle, like all struggles. We have to understand that. We have to appreciate the fact that a struggle is not a wedding procession. It's not a straightforward path. It's not something that you say, I set off at 8 a.m. and I am going to arrive at 2 p.m. That's not the way the struggle is. Because the people that you are struggling against, the system that you are trying to overhaul, is an entrenched one, is one that has been there for more than 8 years. It was started by the British. They handed it over to their puppets, and their puppets have institutionalized it. And they have weapons, they have intelligence, they have a system, they have a civil service, they have a state. They are trying to protect this. So you don't expect to walk in and walk out. So that's the first thing we have to appreciate. These people look at it as if you are taking food literally from their mouths. They believe they are entitled to whatever it is that they are doing. They believe they have a right to loot. They believe they have a right to rule you, not govern you. They believe they have a right to arrest you, torture you, do every bad thing to you to preserve their power. So when you get involved in the struggle, you have to be aware of these things. And you have to be aware that it's not going to end overnight, that it can take years. Some of us fought against Moi. It took years. It took decades. It's not something that happens overnight. When you go to South Africa, Mandela was in jail for 27 years. Sometimes success does not come in our lifetime. Be prepared for that. Be prepared that you can die in the struggle. If you're not ready for that, you're not part of the struggle. We must appreciate that. So that's number one. There is nothing wrong with it. Two, we have to affirm the cause for which we are struggling. We cannot doubt the rightness or the justness of our cause. We cannot say removing Ruto is a bad thing when we know the horrible things that he's doing against the majority of Kenyans when he's in power. And therefore, the next question is this. How then do you work with that system, with that government, with that regime? How can you work with a regime that is torturing and killing innocent youth, that the only crime they committed is to carry water and a flag and march on the street because they wanted to stop Finance Bill 2024. How can you justify that? How can you even ask the question? How can you say, can we work with the government for the time being? How do you work with them? Because essentially what you're saying, can we surrender to this government, let them torture us, let them abduct us, let them impose all these severe conditions, let them weaken us so that we would not have the strength to resist in 2 years or 5 years or whatever. So there are things we can rule out of hand. Then the next thing is, how can Ruto must go as a rallying call be bad? You see? Because if you want the system to go, you have to have a rallying call. And the rallying call that was conceived of and coined was Ruto must go, because he's the symbol of that system. That cannot be bad. I think we would be making a lot of progress if we think critically about what we are saying here and come out with concrete things that we can use to be able to achieve the goal. So Amenya came up with a freedom charter similar to the South African. It is not an ANC charter. The South African Communist Party was there. The trade union movement was there. The Black Consciousness movement was there. The Pan-Africanist movement was there. Azapo was there. There are so many other movements. ANC is just the one that got the Western attention because they didn't want to emphasize the other movements because they had already compromised the ANC. But it was, the Freedom Charter was for all South Africans. So that's a very brilliant idea, that can we come up with some charter? That's a good one. How then do we use the 13 points that Muthiora was talking about, or how can we incorporate them into this? Or we could just develop some brand new concepts or ideas that can rally the movement. Lastly, what concrete steps do we need to take to organize and to mobilize enough people to be able to remove Ruto from power? Let's not run around this. We know what we want. We want Ruto out of power. I know people fear that, oh, you will be charged. There is nothing wrong, there's nothing illegal to say we want Ruto out of power. There is nothing unconstitutional to say we want to rally as a movement to remove Ruto from power. The Constitution does not say that you can only remove Ruto from power through political parties or through an election. That is not understanding the Constitution. Article 1 of the Constitution does not speak about elections. It only speaks about your sovereignty. And we are sovereign. And we rule ourselves. We govern ourselves. And Ruto is not in the Constitution. UDA is not in the Constitution, nor is ODM. It's just the sovereignty of the people. And we are Kenyans. So I urge us to think concretely around the mechanics. And if we have to come up with a team, let's come up with a team, this team to come up with concrete ideas so that we can move this thing forward, so that we are not just a talk shop. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Muthiora, kindly share the 13-point agenda on the comment section so we can also amplify it. Because now we are talking action, we're not talking, what we should do. It's really already clear. And as, we see how we can marry it with the charter that Abenya is speaking about. Now, let's go to Charlie and then Lukman. 3 minutes each, and then Pauline. Charlie, Lukman, then Pauline.
Hello.
Hello, I can hear you.
Yes. Yeah, it's evening here in Kenya. And first, my name is Charlie. and I am a Gen Z. I just completed my campus some few months ago. I was pursuing quality surveying. Now, the reason why I asked to speak on this platform is because of the anger that I have seeing my fellow youth, my fellow friends pursuing their degrees, their diplomas, their certificates, and they cannot secure any job. And I think Ruto and his government, they think they cannot do anything about it, and they think they should not do anything about it. And I feel very, very bad knowing that I was among, actually when Ruto was buying, I was still in campus, and I took my voter's card so that I can vote for him. And the anger I have is that the person I voted for seems not to care about my future. Okay, I should care about my future as an individual. But he seems not to care even about generations which will come even after me. Now, selling the airport, the KICC, and other government parastatals, knowing well that he is not the last man to live in Kenya. He is not the last person who will become the president. We will have future generations. And about jobs, it's not about the government creating jobs. I know the government already has its own workers. But creating jobs is as simple as lowering taxes for the youth. Now, a person who has completed a TVET course or has completed his degree or diploma or master's and is a youth, I think it's high time we tax youths differently. You cannot tax me equally to someone who has worked for 20 years. That if today I want to open a company, I'll be taxed the same way a billionaire like SK Mashari is being taxed, or James Wong is being taxed. And so I feel that's very, very unfair. And then I feel that Ruto is making it hard for the youth and very unbearable for the youths to live in Kenya, that even they are desperate enough to become house helps in countries like Saudi Arabia, yet they know that moving to a country like Saudi Arabia is a 50-50 chance for you to survive. Okay, many of the people have come back alive and with good stories, sharing how they have acquired some. But I feel that is very bad. That is draining our labor force. It's draining our brains, frustrating our youth. And I feel very, very bad about it. And thank you for giving me this chance.
Thanks so much, Charlie. And I mean, bad things happen. They have happened already. I don't want to beat you when you're already down for having voted for Ruto. But what do you think as a youth you can do to avoid being, just voting for somebody without really evaluating what they're about and what they can do? Do you think there's something the youth can learn from it?
The youths have a lot to learn from it. They have a lot. Actually, the youths behind me, I'm teaching them who to vote for. Don't vote for a party. Don't vote for family. Don't vote for friends. Vote for the person who has a future. And I think the youths, again, bring us down in many movements because they do not take their voters' card. Again, not voting is equal to voting for Ruto. And when I say Ruto, I mean bad governance, because I have seen it that bad governance can really happen. It was my first time voting, and it was my first time blunder that I did.
Thank you so much, Charlie, for joining us and for sharing with us also your experiences and, happens and what one can learn from it. Jelani, test the mic as we get to Lukman and then Pauline. And then I will ambush Professor Kivuta Kibwana to chime in on what, and of course, with together with the Dr. Miguna at the very end, looking at our country, because our country is at a different developmental stage politically. But what are the pointers as we speak? Who? I know I don't want to. I want to put out a disclaimer here. It shouldn't sound like it's an endorsement, but just even without mentioning names, one can really just share so that the youths who are here and those who are actually going to vote, next would really learn from it. Over to you, Jelani. Jelani, can you hear me? Okay. So then let's go to Lukman and then Pauline. Can anyone hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Pauline, can you take the mic? And then Lukman, anybody who's not speaking, we will drop them because that is how our mics get, the space get clogged, and then all of a sudden you cannot hear anyone. Okay, Rugiri, and let me drop those who are not on the speaker, not speaking, so we can bring in the other ones. Rugiri, take the mic.
Hello, Marge. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Yes, my name is Rorigi. Yeah, but Rorigi is good.
It's okay.
Yeah,
that's one of my weaknesses. I'm always butchering names, but not in bad faith. Kindly proceed. Yes, yes.
Not a big deal. Let me say a shout out to Dr. Miguna. I came in when he was talking in the middle, and I agree with him 100%. The other co-hosts, Jelani and Diaspora, I greet you and all the listeners and all the speakers. I just have a little point to reiterate here. I think I quote on Miguna saying that only an armed revolution can dispose Ruto at this point. If we were to wait for the general election or IIBC to be formed, we will be falling into the trap of Ruto because he is already amassing wealth, money for the campaigns. And now with Kindiki as deputy president, they feel they're very secure. And as you remember, somebody said, one speaker said here, I remember. But anyway, they said that Ruto said during the inauguration, or rather the what do you call it? What they did to Kindiki, the swearing in. He said that Marians are very good people because they will, if you send them to kill somebody or to cut somebody, alisema kukata, atakuletea kichwa alafu atakuuliza, by the way, why are we killing this person? So, in other words, he's telling us clearly that Kindiki is here to do his bidding without asking the questions, ask the questions after. So that's one point which I really agree with the speaker, and we should be wary, as Miguna is telling us, you have to be prepared. In this struggle, you have to be prepared unto death. If you think this is a simple movement, that you're just going to there go and beg Ruto, go demonstrate out there, he'll kill again. Anybody who has killed is ready to kill. Actually, the blood kind of calls him. It's like the lions of the lions of Savo, that were the man-eater lions. They delayed the rail there for almost 7 years, and Ruto is ready to derail the government of Kenya for the next 7 years. They're asking with Cherargei, and even he wants to become a Museveni. So I don't want to speculate, but I just wanted to ask Miguna when he comes back, what is his idea on naming the movement? Because in another forum we have thought we can name the movement as the June 25th movement, in line with what Che Guevara and Fidel Castro did in the Cuban Revolution. So could we have a name that we can rally behind And as he said, it will take time. It's not a one-off. It could go on as long as necessary until we get rid of this system, which has been established since independence. And actually before, as Miguna said, it was established by the colonialists, and the colonialists continue. They put one of them, Kenyatta, who was not even Mau Mau. And the story goes on to the extent that now the whole system, I was enumerating that it has killed at least 12 people, exiled at least quite a number, including Miguna himself, and exiled Professor Ngugi, Miguna, and other very important Kenyan leaders who would be contributing to the growth of Kenya. So that was just my question and my quick submission for this time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I think I had some, discrepancies around the two speeches, but I think Dr. is on here. He will chime in on what he wants to clarify. Dilani, over to you.
I need to clarify. I didn't say we remove Ruto through armed struggle.
Yes.
I said we remove Ruto through popular revolution.
Oh, okay. I get that one.
Thanks. And as we continue, I would like to really highlight that we also have a legal responsibility of what we say. And so if somebody is saying something, let them stay, be behind what they're saying. Let's not misconstrue others because it has other effects. Let's just have an objective discussion within the law like we have been doing from the very beginning. Okay, thank you. That clarification is out there. Jelani?
Hey, Maj. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak. Of course, I agree with Dr. Miguna and everything he said. I hopped onto this space because some people were not sure if I've actually come back to my account, if I have access to my account again. I do have access to my account. It is me on the page. I'm okay. It's secure. Everything is secure and everything is great. I wanted to just hop on here and make a quick comment and say, people need to stop treating Ruto must go and this movement like it's a party. This is not fun times. This is not a bash. This is not an opportunity for you to have fun with your friends. This is serious business. People are dying. People are being killed. People are being snatched off the streets. We have a government in power that is acting, contra-constitutionally. I don't even want to repeat what the president said yesterday. It was extremely disgusting when he was trying to talk about the Meru, the Meru community. Just this morning, after I announced I'm going on a break, someone sent me a tweet of fresh remains in Langata. And also like a cyclist was stabbed. It's so many bad things that are going on in the country. And my frustration is that there's a section of Twitter users and a section of Gen Zs and millennials who believe this is a joke, who think that we come on social media to say Ruto must go so we can be paid by Elon Musk. There's people who actually believe that's what's going on. They don't understand that the rally and call Ruto must go is actually serious. This man needs to be out of power. And I did not believe on June 23rd, same way I don't believe today that we need to be waiting for an election to happen to get him out of power. I don't believe that if we get to 2027, we are going to be able to get him out. I don't believe that. I think we need to get him out now. I think we need to organize ourselves and be more strategic in how we do that. I think we need to be more united in the cause. This whole the splits, the arguments, the fights, it just needs to end. It just needs to stop. It's only two sides: the oppressor side and the side of the people. That has always been the case. It's not changed. And I'm open to hearing what everybody's thoughts are on how we can move this forward. Because I'll tell you for a fact, me personally, I've gotten to the point where I'm so tired because we are talking, we are pushing tags, we are, trying to push as much information out there as possible, listening to people who are civically educating us on the bills and the stuff. But then there's no movement because there's this section of Twitter and this section of the country that thinks we're here to joke and to play. And who will sit in the morning and be like, even Kenyans deserve to have, no, Kenyans don't deserve to have a leader that kills them. There's absolutely nobody who voted in 2022 who voted so that somebody like Denzel or Rex can be dead. Nobody voted for people to get killed. Nobody voted for Rigathi to get hounded out of office unconstitutionally. I personally do not care either which way if Rigathi is deputy president or not. But we're not here to condone contra-constitutional behavior. We're not here to condone impunity. So I personally think we need to have a bigger conversation. I'm here to listen. I'm here to hear your views. Thank you so much, Maj. But that's where I'm at with my thought process, and I'm looking forward to hearing everybody else going. Asante sana, Maj.
Yeah, thanks so much, Jelani, for getting the energy to come back. It's really been very tiring. As we move on, I see we're 10 minutes past. We don't want to get into that situation of people not having spoken. I would like to get to you, Ruriji, regarding the name you suggested, or you were requesting for feedback on the name. We already discussed that, and it will be more of not like really a movement-based, but rather the people themselves should be having something tangible that really makes them want the change. And that's where I gave an example of how the youths were telling me they're going to the streets, whether I like it or not, even after the threats. And the next day they're actually tagging me and telling me, Marge, we're out. So I think people are going to really respond more to what affects them than, a name of a movement. But we are many here, and we can, somebody who wants to chime on can do. Pauline, take the mic, and then we go to, Lukman had dropped, we go to Simliu.
Thank you so very much, Marge, for this opportunity. It's always a pleasure to, as a Kenyan, seeing my fellow Kenyans fighting the struggle. Mine is just 2 points. I will echo what the previous speaker said. Me, as a young person, someone who's been advocating for peace, change, seeing the finance bill, seeing the aftermath of everything, I think the only thing as a people, as a country, I'm not trying to be like anti-government, but at this stage, I'm like, the only way as a country we can change is getting like in that revolution stage. That's where we're supposed to be at. That's the conversation we should be having, because there's no way the government is ready to like support the people who put them in power. Everywhere they do, every corner, everywhere they go, everything they touch, it's scandalous. Everything is a scandal. People being killed left, right, and center, and people not standing up against this. It just keeps me it gets me on my knees all the time. I'm always crying for my people, seeing my fellow Kenyans being slaughtered like goats. That's something that should not be normalized. So the only thing we should do is ask this question, ask ourselves, is this the country that we want? Is this the country we would like to see our people like us who have not been married, people who grew up in this country, seeing a lot of injustice at this stage? It's insane. It's mind-boggling, and I think the only way we can do this is taking to the street. Yes, they will try. They'll continue militarizing the police against us and trying to silence us. But it's not like they're silencing us. It's just intimidating. Wanawasha moto, wanapoza. I feel like people have not felt like this is serious. Like Jelani said, this is not a joke. Lives are being lost. People every day are being killed, and the government is I don't know. It's like a barbecue, turning us over. I feel like as a people, as a country, we should take this seriously. And as Kenyans, we tend to forget very quickly, and let everything just flow like nothing happened. And every day we see on the Twitter spaces people being abducted, even seeing individuals standing when someone is being taken. That's so wrong. I think as a people, as a country, we should stand firm. If it's protest, we should not say, oh, we're tired. Because the moment we say we're tired, we've seen what happened after the finance bill. They've been coming. I have friends who've been abducted, and I'm like, what in the world? It's so wrong. And the moment we allow this government to continue doing whatever they're doing, I don't think we will survive as a country, as a people. For the next 7 years, this guy will be in power. I think the best thing is to take the long road. It's gonna be a long road, but that's the only way forward. Kubandua watu in power, because that's the only way. Any democracy that has been achieved in the past years, it all started with one people, several people, and thousands of people coming together and saying enough is enough. And that's the only way we can, as a country, as a people, say enough is enough. And yes, this is not a joke. We just need our country back. People being, even Gachagua, the way he was like impeached. I mean, I'm not against him. I'm not like with him, but it's still so wrong in a country, quote unquote, that has a constitution. Everything is a mess right now, everywhere. And at the moment we as a people stand together and say, yes, this is no joke, because Kenyans, we have the habit of saying, yeah, ni mchezo wa taoni huu, lakini si mchezo, because it involves our future. The future of us, it's the young people, and the future of everyone in this space who is a Kenyan wanting to see change, because that's the only way. So it's not a joke. Come on, a revolution, that's the only way, because taking the street, that's the only language these people understand. Yes, people will be killed. I can die today, but does that mean the system will change? No, we have to keep on pushing until everything that we want is achieved, and that's a better Kenya and a better country for us, and for us all. Thanks, and I'll drop. Thanks again.
Asante sana. So, tukiendelea, I hope because tunataka pia tuongee na wale ambao wako kwa ground, ndio tuweze kuelewa nini inaendelea, pia tuweze kupata kuzungumza nao, tuweze pia kuwasaidia vile wanavyoweza kufanya. Manake si rahisi kuamka asubuhi, unajua vizuri umesomea kitu, ama kama hujasomea kitu uko na pesa yako kidogo, ungependa kwenda kufungua kibanda, lakini unaambiwa huwezi kufungua kibanda, manake hiyo pesa yako uko nayo, wanataka kuangalia huko, wanataka license hii, wanataka ile hongo hapa. So Gen Z, mkiwa hapa ndani, ningependa pia nanyi tuweze kuongea kwa pamoja, tuongee. So chance yenye napeana kwa sahihi ni kama kuna Gen Z kwa panel, tafadhali chukua mic, inua mkono uchukue mic, tuweze kujadiliana. Kuna?
Yes.
And if I hear somebody trying to note my Swahili later, this is what you guys do, I'm gonna kill all of you. Okay.
Can I speak?
Yes, Andalea. Yeah.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, and good evening to you. My name is Morris Mio, and I come from Busia County. Although currently I'm in Norway, I came to study political psychology. So let me try to apply a few concepts that I've learned to whatever is happening back Kenya at home. And I also share sentiments with everyone here who has spoken about the ugly situation that we are facing as a country. Indeed, I also agree that if we continue the same trend, we will not have a country that is fit for everyone to live and survive. So it's a very bad situation that we are in, and unless as Gen Z or as youths, to be specific, we take some action, then we'll keep on complaining until forever. So I would like to say that as people normally operate on two principles. That is on pain or pleasure principle. So I had some tweet from Dr. Sandeep, which was saying, we want to make you feel, to make you suffer for around 3 to 4 years. Then at the end of the year,
Sorry, is it only me who cannot hear you, Senator Futa?
He's very okay. Usinitafute is not speaking. Usinitafute, you're gonna speak in a few.
I can hear him.
Yeah, we can.
I'm speaking. I don't know if.
Yeah, we can hear you. But let me mute Usinitafute. I'm gonna mute you because you're bringing in some background. Okay, so Simino, please wind up as you continue, and then we want to have those who are on the ground speak the next 5 to 10 minutes, because sometimes, yeah, go on. Yeah.
Okay, let me wind up as an action plan, which I think is an idea we can all of us buy or we can reject. You know, it all depends. What I think as the way forward is this: as youths, we should influence many of us to vie for seats. The reason why I'm saying for this is because if we don't have an incentive for something, we cannot support anything. Because as youths, most of the times we always want a reward. If we don't get it, then we don't see benefit of acting in it. I will act as an example because I've already declared to vie for a very small seat, although I know my capacity I can even fight for a senator. But I want to vie for a member of county assembly. And I've started seeing, and I normally do most of my meetings online, and I see people come and join, and through those meetings, I take them for civic education, like to educate them about politics, about how to vote someone, how to elect a good person. Because at the end of the day, the problem is that our people don't understand who is a leader and who is the person they're supposed to elect. Is it the money that a person brings, or is manifesto they're supposed to look into? So actually, that's a very big problem that we still have as a country, and that is where we need to face. That's why I fully associate myself with the person leading the national cause. The national coalition of movement, whichever change movement. I think that's where the problem is. Most of our people don't really understand who is a leader, who is a person they should elect. They only elect you because you have come with money, and then they elect you, then the business ends, and that's how we keep on finding ourselves in this problem. I close my submission by saying that we need to take action. Taking action means taking these political seats, because that's where laws are made. Laws are not made on streets, either on Twitter or on the streets, but we need to go into the place where they make those laws and influence change from within, not from outside, because it's difficult to influence change from outside. At the end of the day, we are still Kenyans. We reserve a right to vie, and we need to go for those seats. That's my submission. Thank you.
Thanks. Let's go by Calvin, Nothing Kenya, Munyu, Usini Tafute, and then Daktari can chime in. Calvin? Unmute your mic, please. Okay, Nothing Kenya?
Hello, everyone. As usual, I salute our comrades that we lost, the injured, the missing, and Kenyans at large. There are a few areas of concern. Number one, the number of people turning up dead. The abduction, we need to have a team, probably in the diaspora, running a space just to create awareness in case there's someone missing, because sometimes when there's a lapse, we end up with fatalities. Secondly, I suggest we need to spam every country with this issue of people being killed. It has to be a global issue that he has nowhere to go to. He has no face anywhere in the world, because we need to create awareness. We need to spam UN. We need an embassy. We should not let it slide. I think for the ambassadors to have released a joint press statement, it means from their intel they are aware. They're just trying to dust off their hands, because they have been his enablers. Like you, Marge, I don't watch. I don't mention his name. I don't watch anything. At best, I read what's happening. Number two, we are losing the ground simply because we are not focusing on issues. My suggestion would be, can we have a team plugging in, and with the support of lawyers, if it's the agricultural and livestock bills, we make sure that they do not go through. We have seen Bill Gates being given immunity. If he's doing the right thing, why does he need immunity for his expatriate team? that thing will come into effect if we don't challenge it in court. The young lawyers who are willing to pursue those cases, financial support is required, but it will be channeled to the lawyers themselves, not to individual. Or we can use the it was blockchain platform where remittance can be made there, and we facilitate those lawyers. Then we need people committing to run a space. I'm committing to run a space for agriculture and livestock. I've been in communication with many people, but then like the case for mung beans in Machakos, the young lady has challenges commuting from Embu to Machakos. So we need to figure out how to run with shift. We've seen people dying because of this shift shaft madness. So we need to find a way how to plug through so that we can sustain the momentum. Like everyone has said, in support regarding Gachagua. At the same time, this lawlessness has reached a point where it endangers people. Why did ambassadors turn up for that particular event, knowing very well that the constitution is being butchered? So Kenyans do not have friends, but just because we do not have friends does not mean that we're going to lie low. We're going to fight to the very end, whatever it takes. That said, I think we need to support spaces whereby like you can hold the state of the nation and other people can hold on parallels on particular issues so that we don't have anything falling through the cracks. For example, there was this gentleman called Ruto who had sued Monsanto in Zimbabwe. Our hearing there, they took it to South Africa, himself is Zimbabwean, and in South Africa they bought his white lawyers with allegations that he had made a disparaging tweet some years back, and they dumped him, and eventually he went on to another law firm. And lo and behold, after hearing, he actually won the case. They said there was no public participation, and there's need to protect the indigenous seed. That tells you, and he was on a space, I think it was American space, where he was asking, can Kenyans collaborate so that we can defend indigenous seed? So if we channel our energy in such direction, we're going to win, because I think people are tired. People are tired because they feel like they're losing. There's this land helplessness that is creeping in, and we can't blame anyone. We have seen what's happening. So let's hold hands and push forward as a team by focusing on such issues. And then once in a while, then people can do a brief of what is the medical team are doing. I thank you, and I yield the mic. Thank you and good evening.
Yeah, thanks so much, Nathan Kenya, for your contribution and submission there. I think actually, and I would like to have other people chime in on this later. The government is trying to keep us busy. Really trying to keep us busy, whereas it's good to call out the government. They cannot make it our job daily. And this is why they're keeping the youth jobless, so that they can wake up to tweet about that, tweet about this, tweet about. What about the governance? What about the things that they're supposed to be doing? I mean, of course, as a strategy, I also support that people would need to split. And that is what I've been thinking about, that you have people who are really talking about the constitution, there are other people talking about this, and then it actually splits, the workload, because otherwise it's a 24-hour job that the government is trying to give to the people, so as to wear them down as they continue looting. And they also have some of their employees actually come online to ridicule the citizens, which I actually would like to find out how we can stop this, because it cannot be that a government employee is coming out to say we're going to really make you suffer for the next, I don't know how many years. So guys, it's 28 past. Let's take it to Calvin. I hope you're able to speak now, and let's keep to the time. Muthiera, I saw you. Yes.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me take this opportunity to appreciate the host for the wonderful job you are now doing here. this country is really, we are really wondering where we shall go, because whatever is happening in this country, it's very shocking. Because when we go to the article of the Constitution, is stating very clear that the power belongs to people, and this power can be exercised directly or indirectly. But when we see our members of parliament, who are now we have given already power to deliver to wananchi, now they are doing fake things. So what I can say is this: let us unite to ensure that this regime should go home. Because if we leave this regime like this, we are going to suffer. And even life will take forever, because the kind of tax these people are taking from people. My friend, these things is very dangerous. And I want to appreciate and favor to Dr. Miguna. Miguna, you are a man and a half. And you are a style. You are, because what you have done to this country, a fool cannot realize. A fool will never realize. But somebody who is very keen can see you that you are a leader. You are a patriot. That is why we saw you the other time when you saw things was very hard. You really make sure that things to be in order. But some people disappointed you. So I want to tell you this, Mr. Miguna. Make sure that you form a party. We don't fear anybody. We don't fear even death. We don't fear anything, even machine gun, even Ruto. Even Ruto, if Ruto want to come to us, we don't care. But we want to tell him is this: we know the executive is somehow threatening judiciary. We are seeing that thing. Judiciary is being threatened because how the case of Gachagua went, we were not happy about that. How comes is in and the case is already in the court? Which kind of judgment is that? That thing we can say is a threat. We don't want our country to be like that. Our country change cannot the leaders. We are the one who should now control those people. If they cannot hear what we are telling them, they must hear what we are telling them. Because we can't have people, a bench of men sitting together, discussing. We can even form a party, whether it is a party of Chokoringo, or Madenge. We are ready to take that party. And personally, I'm going to run with that your party. When it reaches 2027, that party, we are going to take that party as our own. We don't fear anybody.
Yeah.
And nobody will not come to us telling us that we don't take any party.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, madam.
Thank you so much, Calvin. Let me kindly give this opportunity to Professor Kivuta Kibwana. Then we'll go to Munyu and then Unity. Muthiora, I see you. You'll go then directly after Professor, and then you go to Munyu and then Usini Tafude. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Angelani, General, Steve, and all colleagues on this space. I hope you're hearing me because I'm on the way.
Loud and clear.
And so I hope I'm loud and clear. Thank you. I think this is a very scintillating discussion. And the focus also being that let us talk about things that are actionable, because there's been considerable talk, and people end up just talking many times, not to suggest that there hasn't been important action, up to now, even after the June 25 and so on. But I actually want to agree, because I was leading from the beginning, I want to agree with both Miguna and Amenya. I don't think they were speaking different things. Maybe the nuance could have been a bit different, but I think, you see, for example, the president was trying to rally Kenyans by saying that he's giving them fertilizer, he's giving them housing levy, he's giving houses, he's giving them health care, what. So that's how is way of trying to mobilize people. Meaning, the side that is against him, this movement must be clear about what does it stand for. And we have been told that already, whether it is the National Coalition, whether it was what William Mutunga, the former Chief Justice, did about Article 1, and many things that have been spoken about before, you can very easily get what Amenya was calling a charter, and what also Miguna described as the real issues that you mobilize around so that people say, yes, this is our problem. Like even in this space, youth unemployment has been very dominant. And one can get, integrity, corruption. One can, get like 10 points or that one page, something which is concrete, but which is real, which is what is ailing the Kenyan community. And even if Amenya called it theory, it is just that which are these points, which is the summary of the real problems that Kenyans are going to say, if this movement will sort out these issues, then we are good to go. And so I think even after one kind of appears to collect them, you must also run them through Kenyans so that they are owned by Kenyans. Just like actually what the Gen Z started, the fearless thing, the integrity, just do a right thing and all that. I mean, that was bought, by Kenyans. So that is the first point that I want to make. And the second point is, people are doing things in a disjointed manner, and I think somebody did say that unity is required. So there are those who are working in the diaspora, and we really thank them very much, and they are leaders in the diaspora. They are leaders among the Gen Zs. They are leaders among, other generations of older people. So it doesn't make sense, these people continuing to work solo. They need to, to be identified, those leaders, so that they can help the country concretize this charter or this agenda. And then the people will say, yes, we can also see the faces and the voices of those who could do things differently. And I think that is really a missing thing, because if we are serious about, changing our country, then it means that we have to come together. And this business of people saying, I'm the leader, and the other one, I'm the leader, you don't choose yourself to be a leader. Either, peers say, you work together, leadership emerges, and the people ultimately will say that these are our leaders. Even as one of the participants here already was saying that I can identify so-and-so as one of the leaders. And I think for me, from NCC, leadership developed organically. And I think that's something, and if we are together to get the country to change, and we have good people who can, be ahead, then that's fine. You don't have to be the leader. You can be in a group which will be part of helping to midwife the change. And I think that we need to have the perspective of both Article 1 as well as 2027. Let us not see them as contradictory, because if Article 1 comes first, That's well. That is good. If we have to do up to 2027, so that there is an election, one has to prepare for that as well. One has to say all this youth vote, which is like about 14, 15 million youth, and all these other people, and to do that political education, to debunk this business of negative ethnicity, this business of handouts, and all that kind of stuff. So for me, this idea of who are these leaders from those categories I mentioned, can they come together? Can they even come together to talk about a definitive statement about the abductions, the killing, all that kind of stuff, and really say that this will not work, tell these international people, who are coming here every day, that they can't support a system which is doing this to young people and so on. So I think we are doing well, and time is of the essence. And to finalize March, because I think I've taken more than my 3 minutes, but to finalize, if the people that are in these spaces don't quickly come together and show Kenyans that there is a group that really wants different, then you will get now the remnant of KANU, which is like, this other group which is coming with Waititu, coming with Kalonzo, coming with Wamalwa, and so on. You will get that group to look like it is actually the alternative. And of course, that's also a strategy of, the people who are ruling, that sometimes they want an alternative of themselves. So we have to make up our minds, or the people who, want to see real change, to make up their minds whether, they don't mind even those guys being the alternative. Because if there isn't good work, then Kenyans will begin to say that is the alternative. And of course, it means that even afterward, we'll continue, struggling. And the basic struggle is a struggle just to implement the constitution. Because we fought for a constitution, it is not perfect. But if it was implemented reasonably well, Kenya would be doing pretty well. So even with all these things that we are saying of, if it's integrity, if it is, youth empowerment, if it's whatever, they're all encompassed in that document. You can get them out from that document. And I think finally, as I think somebody said, it was Miguna, that let us not think that Ruto is an easy person to just get out. For that to happen, there has to be very concerted, concerted work. And as Miguna said, depending on the effort that people employ, it can take, very many years, because as Moi said, KANU will rule for 100 years, and it's not the KANU of 1963. It is KANU, all the people who are in KANU. In actual fact, the problem is all the people who are in KANU, they keep on coming back in different forms, and the people who have never been in KANU and who are trying to say, we are children of the new constitution, and we want the new constitution implemented. And we want, peace, prosperity. We want, good lives for our young people, and it's Generation Zote working together, especially those who are not polluted by the previous systems. I yield, and thank you for talking for so long, being listened to, and thank you all in this space. I want to say something so that maybe when Miguna and Amenya and all the others March respond, they have also heard a bit of what some of my raw thoughts, so to speak, as I'm journeying from a funeral. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Professor, for taking the time to join us. Of course, don't restrict your time. You were one of the invited guests, and it's always a pleasure also speaking to you and hearing from you. So should you still have time, please feel free to also chime in between if there are if you still want to add on some more. Thanks again. Muthiora, take the mic, and then Steve and Terry can chime in. I think probably if they want to not rebut, but just add on to what Professor was saying. And then, Munyu, I see you. I haven't forgotten you. You're going to be next. Muthiora?
Thank you, Maj. I just wanted to let everyone know that I shared the 13 reasons why Ruto must go. And I wish to invite all those who are interested to look at the analysis that NCCPA did with regard to the roadmap to the People's Revolution, as we call it. And as Dr. Miguna explained earlier, ours is a popular revolution. And the 58 organizations that are signed up for NCCPA are not necessarily united by any known ideology. They just agree on the roadmap to the People's Revolution, the 13 reasons why Ruto must go. And I will use Kenya Bora Twitakayo, which is a member of the NCCPA. In July, they went to court. And before then, they had been conducting investigations and gathering evidence with regard to all the violations that William Ruto had done against our constitution. So since July, we've had this matter in court where KBT outlined 36 instances during which William Ruto had assaulted the Constitution. Now, recently, you saw how easy it is to impeach a member of the presidency. It did not take long. So during the Gen Z uprising that eventually ended up calling for William Ruto's removal from office, we had already arrived at a conclusion that William Ruto has captured parliament. We were not sure that the judiciary is captured as well, even though we can see signs that there is massive executive overreach even over the judiciary. So we can understand why this matter has taken so long in the corridors of justice. We've been given a date, that is the 12th of November, to go back to court because after William Ruto was served to come to court, there was an objection that the president enjoys immunity while in office against the kind of prosecution that had been taken to the High Court. So there's this dilly-dallying. So even though there is a court process by a member of the NCCPA, we believe that all Kenyans should be organizing for the popular revolution so that even if it will not happen in the streets, we'll be ready when the next election date arrives. Now, that said, I've had people say we need to come, we need to meet. NCCPA invites all members and we hold meetings every Monday, starting from 2 p.m. Well, we've enjoyed the generosity of the National Reconstruction Alliance Party that's led by Okia Omtata, who has given us space. And then, of course, we've had guidance from other progressive parties such as the United Green Movement, Ukweli Party, the CPK Party, together with all these other pro-people social movements. So where to begin is we've had people meeting way before the 25th of June. So we would want to invite people to come and bring in these ideas because fatigue is starting to set in. We need leaders. We need people to come. We've been at the stage where we are getting to know who stands for what and those who preach water but drink wine. So as people get kicked out of the organizing because, and sadly I have to outline this, we were with people like Kasmuel Makoure. We were with people like Morara Kebasu, who eventually ended up...
May we not mention names, please? Kindly proceed.
Well, I just thought it's important so
yes,
people know
but it's okay.
What the journey has been.
Yeah, it's okay to just say the colleagues, because that happens everywhere, that the people who fall off a process. So that's okay. We understood you. Kindly proceed.
Yeah, so I'm urging people to come because there is so much to be done, but very few people to get the job done. I, as an individual, together with the others who are still trying to do something, could get compromised along the way. But then this movement has to soldier on. The Kenyan people must eventually win. So even if you have just an hour in a week, show up, come volunteer. There is space for you. And as Professor has said, leaders will eventually emerge. So seize the opportunity. It's the 5th floor of Taj Tower. We have our meetings every Monday starting from 2 p.m. Come see what you can do. And this is open for individuals, for all social movements that are pro-people. Please come. Let's build this nation together. Thank you much.
Thank you so much, Mudiora. And we'd also like to encourage anyone out there who's doing something to keep coming in and pitching for themselves and actually just telling us this is what we do. Because if we don't hear from them, we don't know what they do. So we just want to really encourage everyone so that at least we have some, way of encouraging each other. Jelani, I see you opened your mic, and then we go to Honey, and then Munyu, not unless Steve and Dr. want to chime in. Okay, Honey Farmer. Munyu? Can you guys hear me? Am I butchering? Munyu, go on. Yeah.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Or morning, depending on where you. So, Johnny, thank you first of all, Matt, for the opportunity, and my brief contribution to this will be, I think the journey to solving a problem begins by understanding the problem, and I appreciate because all of us we are gathered in this place because we understand where the problem in this country is, and my point, my analysis and after close monitoring of the kind of governance we have in this country, the kind of leadership we have is really dragging this country to poverty. Ruto is, I'm sorry to mention the name, but the executive is trying to reduce this country into.
No, I think you should mention Ruto by name.
For Ruto, because that's the presidency.
Thank you.
It's one thing to mention the presidency and another thing to mention other individuals. So that's just fine. Back to you.
Thank you. So Ruto is making several moves to try to make Kenyans more poor, through making them unable to access education, through making them unable to access decent healthcare. And after realizing that the Gen Z are so burning to try to inject into election through the next elections, probably is also trying to take them to other countries to go and work there so that we can do, because in most they are not going to vote for him in the next election. So he's making several strategies so that we make sure he's going to win back the seat in the next election. So my suggestion will be a robust civic education on the grassroots level is really important and is really going to help us in the coming election. You see the few contributions that have been done by comrades like Namurara and the rest. So they have really done some good work. And when I go to the village, even the old women in the village, you can hear the governor or someone called Murara who has been trying to expose the government and the things that it has been doing. So I encourage even the people who are doing content creation by creating the content, because the time of social media is really helping people, and people are really getting enlightened in this move. And when it comes to making decisions in the next election, it is really going to help people make the right decisions, because they are now enlightened and they can make decisions based on the information that they have. Otherwise, we are still way much behind, because you can see just with the recent event that happened yesterday, the swearing of a new deputy president, people back in the village are still singing and celebrating. Our man has been put into position, and this tells us that we are still back in the politics of ethnicity and the way to, and we really want to kill those things. That when we come to the next election, people are going to elect leaders based on integrity, based on personality, and not who comes from, whether it is my brother and he doesn't stand for, or he doesn't advocate for anything that is going to benefit the nation, then they stand no place to be elected in the leadership of this country. So thank you so much, and that is your contribution.
Thank you so much, Munir. We now have 1 hour and 6 minutes to go. Let's try to cue in the speakers 3 minutes. 3 minutes each, and then we can, the last 30 minutes we can leave for the main, let's say main, every speaker is important, but just for the sake of moderation, so that at least we have a closeout there. Honey Farmer, go.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
All right, thank you much, and Jilani and the rest of the comrades. First, I want to thank our Don, Dr. Miguna, and Kivuda Kibwana for, they have been quite around in this struggle to ensure for a better Kenya. So my submissions are quite, I don't have much to say, but I want to say we are in quite a very bad place as a country, you know. And I would like to, this is just my plea, please. If there is any economist who is here, you can break this one for us, because I'm talking as a Gen Z mid-20s. I'm a farmer. I'm an horticulturist by profession. I run a grocery. I grow some veggies, but things have been quite tough. How come Mr. Ruto, we said we can mention him, is using the central bank, or rather the Minister of Finance, to cook some figures there? Is really inflation at 2.7%? Because I've been at my Kibanda since 4 p.m. and I've not sold even 300. People don't have money. So, to the dear economists who are here, does the inflation, should it not reflect the actual state of the economic status of the people of Kenya? So here the ground people are really suffering. This government, as much you have said, is ready to take us through circus, one circus after the other. You sing a shago for 1 month, you get impeached, they give you Kindiki, they give you Adani, you go through circles, they give you something else. So that's a strategy they're using. So I think we are advantaged. Let us also have this mentality that we are in a place of advantage. I think if our forefathers, like who fought the white people, the Akina Kungu Karuba, Akina Comrade Paul Gay, Akina Kungu, those people, they had no social media. They could not hold platforms like this. But we are in a place of advantage. Let us use these social media platforms to ensure that we push a common agenda. And one thing also I've noted that these people are using is that people are angry, and even some people who are imposters, calling themselves leaders of some movements, they are very angry. So they are easy to be given some peanuts here and there, and then they run with a different agenda. So let us, there's people who are committed for a better Kenya. Let us also beware, as Professor Kibuta Kibwana said, The likes of Kalonzo, the likes of, we will mention them, the likes of this Waititu who was chased away in Kiambu County. They are not better. Those guys, they are just failures, political failures. They are not better than Gachagua. So they want to portray themselves as an alternative for Kenyans. So let us be aware of people who are trying to come up and try to pretend that like they are better than just the other person. So on that about inflation, please, if someone can say something about it, I will really appreciate. Meanwhile, let us not give up. Let us continue mobilizing. I'm a farmer. Let us also push. You've seen the documentary as I finish about Africa Uncensored. A very nice documentary. Nobody is talking about it. This government has allowed even very toxic chemicals to be sold to farmers. So please, let us also have people talk about such stuff. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Honey Farmer. As you wait for an economist to really answer your question, I would like to encourage you to add on to, these day-to-day goods that people use. No matter what you sell, try to also add these small things. These will give you money so that at least you can end up, you don't need to go back home without a single cent, because you find that the households, they have less money, but by the end of the day, they want to afford one meal. So if whatever you're selling is not moving, even try to add these, these sukuma wikis that they cut and put there ready for people to pick. So you'll find that you'll at least even go home with 200 shillings or something like that. I just wanted to add that as we wait for economists to chime in. All things, Daktari, take the mic. Nungari Mushiri, can you hear me? Otherwise, let's go to Mau Mau grandson. And now we're actually rushing to finish. Mau Mau grandson, over to you. Yeah.
All right, thank you for the mic. I hope I can be heard.
Loud and clear, kindly proceed.
All right, thank you so much for the chance. And let me concur with what Dr. Miguna said, that in this struggle, some of us or most of us might not come back alive. We have to be alive to that fact that this is a change of a whole system that has been there since 1963. So we have to be ready for that. We have to have it at the back of our heads that whatever we are doing, we have to be ready to pay the price with our lives. That we have to drain this swamp for the sake of our kids. And I also concur with what Professor said. Let us try not to come up with an alternative of the guys who've always been there. You can feel that guys are trying to say, oh, this is an alternative. Because what has been the biggest problem is people punishing. Because you find that people are now trying to rally that we punish Ruto, we punish Ruto, we punish. I think that has been the biggest problem, and I hope that we cannot get into that space. And that is why in my small spaces I'm doing civic education. I try and go to the ground, to the matatus, and tell people and contextualize. I always buy a gazette every other day, and this whole month has been about shift. And I tell them, in case one of you gets cancer, in case one of you gets this thing, if you go to the hospital, I ask them, how many of you have been visited the hospital? Umetibiwa, umefanya nini? So umelipa cash. And if we can be able to get it to the ground, then it's going to help. And contextualize it to the ground, it's going to help, bringing it home to the people. And then I think one of the other biggest problems is the guys who are working, the middle class. Them, they live like in an island. They were given share, they were given housing. Then they react, they feel as if things are just okay. If we can also be able to, because we might be thinking that the biggest problem is how watu kwa ground the wananchi, but we have a bigger problem than how these guys who are the middle class, these guys who are in the white collar employment. Them, it's like they are comfortable with the way things are moving. None of them wants to risk for their lives. None of them wants to risk for their job. None of them, they are comfortable. So I think we also need to target them. How can we make most of them be bold? And lastly, the Constitution. I'm a law student. I'm currently studying law. And I feel that it's been a very tragic week. Let's not give up on the Constitution. It's a very good document. And as Dr. Ria said, Article 1, all sovereign power belongs to the people. And Article 76, it says that leaders are not given the power to rule. Actually, it's the Constitution that says they are not given power to rule, but to govern us. They are not given powers to rule us. We are not, it's not a monarch to be ruled. And I hope that we can all do our small things in our small spaces. Mimi nikifanya hii huku kwa matatu, mwingine anafanya hii. And let's be patriotic. Let patriotism lead us. Yesterday I visited the Langata Cemetery. And regardless of the money that we'll have, power that we'll have, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because tutazikwa kwa hiyo 6x6. But the impact that we hold to our people, the differences that we make to our people, let us not be afraid. Let us be vigorous. Let us be patriotic, and we can be able to manage to do this thing. Viva, viva, viva. Grandson of Mama Wakili.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your contribution. Let's go to Festus, Moses, then Maosa and Farah in that order, 3 minutes each as we wind up. We are finishing at the top of the hour. Festus, can you hear me? Mukavana? Okay, then I'll go to Moses Kagaru.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, please proceed.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please proceed. Yes.
Very good. My name is Moses. Mine is, I have been thinking about the executive that it has been rotten. I've also been thinking about rotten. But when we came to the judiciary on the ruling that they made, that is where I got lost. And that's what I would want to ask